we saw also from the initial word cloud that open science, it's a very broad terms, kind of a tree with branches in multiple directions. In ORION, the Open Science Project, we have focused mostly on how to engage different stakeholders in research in life sciences, which is the research we perform in a different institution and we fund in the different funders in ORION. So with this, we have experimented different methods, different methodology, and this session focuses on public dialogues. So this is a methodology we have experimented. We organize public dialogues to organize specific topic or disruptive technologies or genome editing, or public dialogue, as you will see, to discuss the research strategy of the whole institute. Again, I will encourage you, we'll have first our panelists who will share the experience and we want to, I thought the Mentimeter was after, or it's now, sorry. So we first, actually, before asking our speaker to participate, we'll like to run again a Mentimeter questions. So the first question is, if you go to the Menti, how much experience of co-creation with stakeholders do you have? A lot, some, none. Some. Ah, there is someone also with a lot of experience, one person. But let's say the majority between some and none. So hopefully, again, we can share and learn from each other, from this experience. And the other question is for those who have a lot or some experience, what type of science engagement and co-creation experience do you have? So this is a free text. You can include some co-design of educational resources, sharing data, educational projects again. That's often the case in research institutes that we engage with school, creating workshops, science fairs, collaborative projects, so projects in collaboration with different stakeholders, developing funding topics. Okay, so it's you also have diverse experiences. So let's then move to what I mentioned initially. So the public dialogues, so which is specific way to engage different stakeholders that we have organized within ORION. So the first speaker is, you know her already, is Louisa Bengtsson from Max Delbruck in Berlin. And this time she will explain about the artists in residence and the art and science project. We did actually link to one of the public dialogue. Again, I would really appreciate to keep the time to 5 minutes each speaker.
Okay, this time is going to be more difficult, but I'll do my best. Okay, so I will talk about an art science project we did as a prelude to the public dialogue on genome editing. And the title for this art piece or art science cooperation was actually, Would You Want to Live Forever? And it's about a project that we've done with Emilia Tika, a Finnish artist based in Berlin. The official title of the art piece became Eon Trajectories of Rejuvenation and CRISPR. Okay, this started as an open call. We asked artists from around the world to submit their ideas on art piece that would convey the message of CRISPR, the gene editing, how it works, what it's good for, what it can do, what it cannot do, what are the limitations, what are the challenges, opportunities, and make an art piece around it, which sparks discussions about the topic, also about the ethics, but really about the science. And what we were looking for is an artist who is willing to come to our labs, spend a substantial amount of time with us, and actually learn about the science and use it as a basis for the art piece. And this became then, we had 40 submissions from 12 different countries. Emilia Tika, as I mentioned, was our choice, top choice, and that was a really good choice as it turned out. Okay, Emilia asked following questions. she's interested in the topic of aging, and she wanted to know whether CRISPR, so this new gene technology, now not so new anymore, but by then was just a few years old, basically, can the aging be reversed on a cellular level, so actually molecularly with CRISPR? And then she also wanted to speculate about how would the society look like if people stop dying or basically could live forever, and what is behind this dream of wanting to live forever. And she was triggered by this guy, Aubrey de Grey. I will not talk too much about him because no time, but we did a podcast interview with him actually, because as it sometimes happened, of some coincidence, he actually did visit the Max Delbrück Center, and we had the opportunity to actually talk to him. But he is basically a rich person who wants to stop aging and claims that the first person who's going to live forever is already born. Anyways, Amelia was triggered by him. And there was also a paper that came out in 2016 where basically the reactivation of Yamanaka factor. So this is just something we have in our genome that's active during the very first stages of our development, and then it gets deactivated. But this is something that keeps us in this stage of basically forever young, but only at the very few first cell stages of our development.
I apologize, but we don't, the slide seems stacked, so we don't see the slides changing.
Oh my God, okay. I don't know why.
You okay. Need in presentation mode?
Yes.
Because we see.
Oh, it stopped sharing for some reason. Okay. I think I have a strange connection. Okay, I just clicked on resume share and it's not happening. Okay, I'm so sorry.
No problem.
It was all working. Okay, is it okay now? Do you see something?
Yes, it works.
Okay, so that was the questions. This is the guy. Okay, over the gray. Talked about that. This is the paper. So basically, it is possible in mice to rejuvenate them with CRISPR. That's the take-home message here. That basically the concept that Amelia had on the molecular level is possible. And she then went into the lab and she really tried it on also on human cells, where she reactivated those factors that are only active in our early development, and could show that then basically the cells look younger. And there are different parameters you can use to look at it. Anyway, she was working together with scientists. And then she made an artwork based on that. This is an inhalator where you see the components of the CRISPR system, basically. And if you put them into this inhalator, which is a speculative object of the future, if you put it into this inhalator, then you inhale and then you rejuvenate yourself. But you have to kind of continue because you only want to rejuvenate yourself a little bit at a time. And then she made a photo story about a couple. As you can see, he's inhaling, she's not. He looks young, she's not. And how they interact with each other, with the daily life. If you look a bit closer, it's kind of difficult now in a few minutes, but you can also look it up on the website of Amelia. This whole, it's all documented. But basically how they interact with each other, with nature, with death. And it's a quite dark art piece, but it's very emotional, especially since it's next to this this photo story. Basically, there was this inhalator, but also a microscope where you could actually look at those cells that Amelia worked with. So it all created this atmosphere of this is science as it is now, and it's what's going to be possible in the future is not a very distant future. And this scenario of a couple, him inhaling, she's not, that kind of brings out all these questions of like, would you want to do that? Would you inhale? Would you want to live forever? So it was a very good, primer for discussions about CRISPR. It was also very successful. We had, it was exhibited in several places. And this is the picture here, the guy with the white shirt is the mayor of Berlin, and who came, this is Amelia next to him, who came to visit the exhibit. You can see it hanging here in one of our research institutions. We had several events. It was really big in the media, a lot of not only regional, but really international, and newspapers, and not only scientific or normal journalism newspaper, but also art stories was written about it. And actually it's still being talked about. So we consider this a very successful project. And this is the people who were supporting this. And I just would like to highlights that it takes a lot of people, so not just our Orioners, but also other people who really had to support this project. It took a lot of time and effort, and really the more than 1,500 scientists at MDC were pretty much all somehow involved. So that was it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Luisa. We have now a short presentation by Emma Martinez from the Bebram Institute in UK, which is also a partner in Orion, and which will explain these public dialogues on genome medicine that also embedded the art piece just presented by Luisa. Thanks, Emma.
Thank you very much, Michaela. I hope you can all see my presentation in front of you. So I am going to talk about the Orion Public Dialogues on Genome Editing in Research that we conducted in 4 European countries where Orion core partner associations are located. So one was in Brno in Czech Republic, led by the Central European Institute for Technology. Then in Stockholm, Sweden, led by our partners there, Public and Science, VA. And then in Berlin, the MDC, as you have briefly heard on the science art piece by Luisa, and us, the Abraham Institute in Cambridge, the UK. So the project took over 2 years, and it was 120,000 case, excluding VAT taxes. And here you can see, oh wait, I cannot. Yeah, so here you can see the workflow of the project. So first of all, the project design, the project specification was written by Orion partners, and that is a document that contains why are we trying to do, how, and why. And then that was then submitted to an international and multidisciplinary advisory group who were tasked with testing our assumptions and filling the knowledge gaps. Then that document went into institutional review groups, so one in each participating organization. And the role of this group was to actually translate or adapt that project specification to national and institutional contexts. Then it entered into place the subcontracted market research organization, Ipsos Mori, who we commissioned to conduct this public dialogue. And it was done in 2 stages process. So first of all, there was a consultation with stakeholders in a workshop, and there it was discussed what kind of materials should we show the public. And then with the feedback received by the different stakeholders, I put there the ones that we consulted in Abraham Institute. Then the whole document went back to the advisory group and another round of feedback. I forgot to mention that the review group was also tasked with providing the research case studies, which is important. It's another of the things that we discuss later with the public. So the method that we chose for the events with the public were 1.5 days reconvene event with 30 citizens recruited against national quotas. So the events with the publics themselves, that I have a warm-up to introduce everybody and the topic. And then we had a quiz with key biological concepts and a small video by the Royal Society here in the UK on genome editing. And then there were table discussions on the case studies. So first about research, as I said. So in the case of the Abraham Institute, was about the 3 strategic programs of research, which is cell signaling, epigenetic marks, and the immune system. And there was also another case studies on future uses to contextualize the use of the technique. So medical uses versus non-medical uses and the use in animals and plants. There were another table discussions on communicating and engaging on emerging technologies and genome editing in particular, and then another one on the science art piece that Luisa just explained. You will see the pictures in my future slides, such as this one. So the first aim of the dialogue was to find out, explore public attitudes of genome editing in research. It was very difficult to compartmentalize just use of technology in fundamental research, because remember, Orion project is about life sciences fundamental research. So it was very difficult to get views on specifically this topic, but here I tried to put a little bit of everything. So in terms of hope, regarding the use of the technology in research, in the case of Abraham Institute, which we do healthy research, aging research, it was about the hopes that the technology use would lead to increased health span. And that leads me as well to the concerns, because increasing the health span might also have impacts on the national health system. And then there were other concerns, which is like the unintended negative consequences and the wrong uses or misuses of the technology, which are applied more broadly than just fundamental research. And I also show there the trade-offs that we identify. And then in terms of engagement preference, that was the other aim of the dialogue. We wanted to know how and when to engage the public with emerging technologies. So these were the findings. So start early on. So go back to the school curricula, whether there is something already talk about the technology, and then to use wide reach engagement methods. So to prioritize broadcast and online, while there's still a space for in-depth discussions on the topic, such as the one in the past, such as the method of the public dialogue. And finally, to put scientists leader engagement activities. So to talk about motivations for using the technology and fundamental research, and also successes and failures, and to talk about the applications of their work in lifestyle choices. So if another question I had to answer in this presentation.
Emma, very briefly, as you should wrap up,
yeah.
sorry.
The impact was about the Institute was consulted by other funders in the UK about prospective public dialogue on a related topic. Then a set of specific recommendations were put forward to improve public engagement and science communication activities on emerging technologies. And the team at Abraham Institute has been consulted by other public engagement professionals on developing other public dialogue projects. And the coordinator, me, has been invited to sit in the advisory board of the National Environment Research Council for a researchers development program. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emma. So now we will hear from Marta Solis at the Center for Genomic Regulation in Barcelona, another type of public dialogue. In this case, we wanted to hear the views and concerns of public and stakeholders on the research strategy of the institute where Marta is working on. Thank you, Marta.
Thank you, Michaela. Hello, everyone. I hope you all can see my slides. So I will give a very short overview about the public dialogue on the CRG strategy, its impact, and the lessons learned. So basically in this project, we explore how to incorporate the views of citizens and stakeholders into the CRG new strategic plan through a public dialogue. And now after Emma's presentation, I guess you all know what a public dialogue is. So the final aim of this project was to promote an institutional change on how to effectively engage with multiple stakeholders in research. So for the dialogues, we defined 4 core main objectives to discuss about the CRG science, which are basic versus applied science, ethical issues, communications and engagement, and funding. Initially, the dialogue was planned to be done face-to-face, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we transformed it into an online event that consisted of 3 online workshops, sorry for the typo here, with junior and senior scientists, with citizens from all over Spain, and with some of our stakeholders all together. After a lively discussion, a lot of ideas came out from the dialogues. I won't go into detail of all the key messages because we don't have time for this now, but you can check them out at the ORION website. The link will be on the chat. So I will go directly to the results of the project. So from all these ideas that came out from the dialogues, we incorporated 2 new actions to the CRG new strategic plan, which are internal debates about bioethics with and for scientists. And also we will run 2 more public dialogues on new and relevant areas of research at the CRG. And what's the impact of this project? So after evaluating the dialogue, the most remarkable impacts that we consider are, of course, those 2 new actions incorporated to the CRG strategic plan that I've just mentioned, but also the fact that now scientists feel much more confident to talk to non-experts about science, and also this knowledge that we have now about public dialogue methodology. Now we have a clear concept on open science beyond open access. And most importantly is the change of attitude of scientists regarding citizens, because they were surprised by the interest of the participants and their fresh ways of looking at scientific problems from a societal dimension. And even the majority of scientists who participated to the dialogue think now that research priorities should have almost totally open to citizens, whereas this openness was not that clear before taking part of the dialogue. And what did we learn from this project? So we, as organizers of the dialogues regarding the scientists and the management at the CRG, we've learned the importance of defining a clear purpose. So what do we want to achieve? What will be implemented from the very beginning of the project to be able to effectively design the dialogues and to accomplish participants' expectations. And also we've learned that to engage the higher management and a bunch of scientists before the dialogues is essential so that they properly understand the aim of the project and feel part of it. Although, of course, the first-hand experience is the most eye-opening. And regarding the citizens, we've learned that they value basic science when it is explained directly from the scientists and when they can talk about them, about their work. And also that they have very brilliant ideas and that they can pose very interesting questions and add a lot of value to the conversation. So to conclude and to illustrate all this, I've picked two quotes, one from a researcher and another one from a citizen, about their personal impressions after participating to the dialogue. The scientists appreciated the opportunity to get in contact with people and to listen to their ideas, which the scientists wouldn't have thought of, and even change their perception about others, about the people, which is very relevant. And the citizen now feel far closer to the research thanks to the opportunity to talk face-to-face to the scientists and to discuss about their work. And as a final reflection, I think that experiences like this one are crucial for widening the perspective of the scientists about the science they do and its social impact, so that the research of the center is more aligned with societal demands and is ethically responsible. And also these kind of dialogues are very useful for engaging the citizens. Yeah, I'm finishing.
Yeah.
So that they understand the value and the needs of basic science and can be part of the conversation. And that's all. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, and I apologize for cutting some presentations.
No problems.
We have a very busy schedule, and I think it's also important, this moment of debate. So again, we would like to encourage you to post your questions in the Q&A function, and in the meantime, I break the ice with some questions. The first is actually for all speakers and all the different activities that you promoted, no? And the question is, how did you motivate people to participate? And with people, I mean the stakeholders or the citizens, as well as the researchers. So very quickly from each of you, because I think you also have different perspectives. So maybe Marta, you if you want to start.
Yeah, sure.
Reverse order, Emma and Luisa.
Yeah. So in our case, and regarding the citizens, we paid them. And I think this was key for their motivation and implication, although they were all very enthusiastic for being given this opportunity, but especially to talk to scientists. Regarding the stakeholders, we just asked them to take part in the exercise, and they were very enthusiastic just for the fact of being asked about our strategy, and they asked nothing in return, really. And scientists that we invited were very open in general and found this experience very interesting. But it's true that the majority of the science that we invited were previously open to public engagement activities. So in this way, it was easier.
I think in the case of Abraham Institute was a relatively similar experience. So it was usually a self-selected samples of scientists who are already promoting public engagement, who were participating in this dialogue, and the stakeholders were people who were already as the name says, had a stake on the topic. So they were actually very interested in taking part in this dialogue because they wanted to know how this was going to develop in the future. So they had a word to say in the topic. So it was very important. And regarding the participants, the public participants, well, like Marta said, they receive economical incentive, but it is a common practice in public dialogues to ensure diversity and inclusion of different voices. And it worked out really good.
And Luisa?
Well, in our case, it was a bit different because we had artists and we needed several scientists. And interestingly, it was a totally different crowd that responded to my call for participation in the project than usually. And then it also turned out that those scientists who participated in the project, who were involved really over a course of many months, some of them actually were artists themselves, and they were simply interested in the project because they're also doing art more as a hobby. And I found that's also really interesting opportunity to find out what people actually, what the researchers we work with, what they're doing in the besides science. And a lot of scientists are also artists. So for them, this was also like a learning experience and how to combine art and science in a different way than they doing. So they were interested. The difficulty we had was a bit more with basically finding the common language between the artist and scientist. So in the beginning was quite some misconceptions and a bit of not conflict, but heated discussions, but with some facilitation and patience, it did work out. So yeah, it wasn't the usual suspects, but now they become our usual suspects to go to for other public engagement activities.
Thank you. We have a practical question from the audience. What channels do you use to find and engage this? So the engage, we discussed about the motivation, but how do you find the citizens in these activities?
Well, in our case, I think it's similar to Emma's. We commissioned Ipsos Mori, a global market research organization, and they recruited the citizens because they have a database of with a lot of contacts, and in our case was Ipsos.
So Ipsos uses a subcontracted recruiting agency, and they just go on the streets and they recruit against national quotas. For our case, to have a national representative sample. But yeah, it was done through subcontracting organization.
And Luisa, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so we teamed up with the science art gallery, basically. So the first citizens came to the gallery, basically, and then also we used all kinds of promotion channels. And of course, the artist herself is quite well networked and also known. So she also recruited a lot of people to come and look at her art, of course. And then we also used large public engagement events that we do anyways, like the Long Night of Sciences or the Berlin Science Week, to showcase the work. And through that, we also had a lot of public just coming through and interacting with the art.
Another question is, if we have been discussing also from the beginning in ORION Open Science that we would like to trigger Eureka moments, no? Like people change their attitudes or the way they are thinking. And have you experienced this attitude change in your activities? And if you can actually explain a concrete example. I don't know who wants to start first. Emma, I see you're smiling.
I don't think we had such an Eureka moment per se, as in one person saying, "Oh, this was really made me change my mind." But we did have the scientists from Abraham Institute who participated in the events with the public saying that thanks to this discussion, it has somehow changed the way they view the citizens and how they see their own research portfolio looking into the future. That's on the one hand. And on the other hand, we had really the director of the Institute participating throughout the dialogue, and he's praised the work of the dialogue. So he see this project as being influential. So there was no like, oh, it has made me change my mind, but it was a lot of praise about it.
In our case, it was quite similar to Emma's case, and as I explained in my presentation, there were some relevant attitude changes. In the senior figures at the beginning, they were a bit skeptical about opening up the CRT research and to ask to citizens about how we could perform our research. But in the end, I think the experience was very good and was very valued. And from several scientists also, we got attitude changes. One of them realized the importance of taking this social dimension in their everyday work. So I think this is quite relevant also. And also some senior PIs also suggested that, as we did this public dialogue online, they suggested that it needed to be open to all the CRG. So I guess this is a relevant impact as well. I don't know if they got this Eureka moment, but we could note this. So.
I can maybe just add, I mean, from the art piece, that was just so overwhelming. A lot of people started thinking about whether they want to live forever or not, and what actually medicine can do now or not. So this is the Eureka moment. Definitely, we influenced a lot of people. Also, the scientists who participated in that just started thinking about the more visionary aspect of the work, which they were missing. That so we got comments like, I'm just so caught up in my daily work doing this little detail one at a time that I just don't think about the bigger implication of where is actually, what am I working towards in the bigger picture, not just curing a disease, but like how does my work contribute to the whole body of knowledge and where the society is going per se, like the whole context of it. But I can tell you about some Eureka moments from the public dialogue actually, because we also had the public dialogue was also conducted at the MDC. And what really surprised me was also like this representative sample of people from all over Germany with, you know, they were not there because they were interested in science per se, because they were recruited to be this focus group for the public dialogue. And several people who were there, they were so surprised that we invited them into our research institution and actually showed everything and talked to them, we as scientists. For them, this was a huge Eureka moment that, oh, you actually do want to talk to us. You don't live in an ivory tower. You do actually want to communicate. Wow. And this was quite an interesting moment, because usually we do reach the people that we usually reach, right? So all the audiences for our science festivals and so on, there's so much research on it who's actually going there, and it's not the hard to reach audience. It's not the people who stumble upon it. It's people who actually actively go there. But with the public dialogue, we reach someone, or this group of people, reach them without them wanting it actively, but we still reach them. So I think that was the biggest Eureka moment, that we have to, for us, we have to work differently. We have to think differently about audiences, and we have to make sure that we don't just focus on the things that are going well already, but also try out new things. So that was the biggest Eureka moment for us.
Thank you. With this, I would close this first session, but we actually have a 5 minutes yoga, Zoom yoga, I don't know how you call it, Emma, with Emma. And if I'm not wrong, we will also have 5 minutes break, so you can stretch or get another coffee. And we will start again, in case you are not a yoga fan, we will start again at 11:20. But if you want to stay with us now, Emma will guide you through some yoga. Thank you, Emma. Looking forward.
So my secret task in the evenings is a yoga teacher as well. So I hope you all enjoy a little bit of 5 minutes desk yoga. So let's come to sit on the edge of your own chairs, feet on the floor, and then put your hands on top of your knees. You cannot see me because this is a bit difficult. It's the first time I'm doing this kind of thing, but so you put your hands on top of your knees, and then let's do a couple of shoulder rolls just to release some tension. So let's move a couple of times forward, the shoulders up and back and down, and then towards your ears and down. And then let's do it in opposite direction, actually. So bring the shoulders up towards the ear and then back, and then push them down a lot, as much as possible. And again, inhale, bring the shoulders up towards your ear, and then back down. And then from here, I'm gonna just turn, but you don't have to, but you continue with your hands on your knees, and then we're gonna do some rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, stretch the spine, look up. Exhale, round the spine and look at your belly button and round the spine as much as possible. I hope you can hear me correctly. Inhale, stretch your spine, look up. Exhale, round your spine and look at your belly button. Let's do a couple more. Inhale, look up, stretch your spine. Exhale, slowly round up your spine, look at your belly button. Feel the stretch over your shoulder blades. Inhale, look up. Exhale, slowly round up, look at your belly button. And then from here, we're gonna clasp the hands behind your back. I will stand up so you can see, but just clasp your hands behind your back. And then inhale, stretch the arms down. I know you're sitting in your chair, but try to stretch the arms as far as possible. And in the exhale, try to bring your arms a little bit away from your body. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, bring the arms a little bit higher up. Try to tuck your tailbone a little bit in. So inhale, stretch. Exhale, try to bring the arms a little bit higher up. Inhale, bring the chest up. Exhale, bring the arms a little bit higher up. One more time. Inhale, stretch the arms. Exhale, bring them down. And now bring your hands down. And then here you can either continue with the clasped hands behind your back, or you can bring to grab opposite elbows. And from here, we're gonna do some neck stretches. So bring your right ear to your right shoulder. And now just concentrate in feeling the stretch on the left side of your neck. You can close your eyes to bring yourself more into your own body and focus on your breath. Inhale and exhale. Let's do one more breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then bring the chin towards the chest. So we bring the head forward. So now we're trying to stretch the back of our neck. Again, either clasp the hands and bring the hands down, or grab opposite elbows. And then just focus on feeling the stretch on the back of your neck. Close your eyes and just listen to your breath. Inhale and exhale. And the last one, inhale and exhale. And now let's come to the last side. So bring your left ear to your left shoulder. And now I want you to feel the stretch over the right side of your neck. And then close your eyes, bring your self-awareness into yourself. Inhale slowly, exhale. Two more times, inhale slowly through your nose, exhale. And the last one, inhale and exhale. Okay, now release your arms and hands from behind your back. I'm gonna go back again to the side, but you continue like that. So from here, we're gonna bring the left hand to the top of the right knee. We're gonna bring the right hand behind your back. So we're gonna work into some sitting twists. So in the inhale, I want you to bring the top of your head up towards the sky. And on the exhale, I want you to start twisting towards your right side. So inhale, stretch your spine maximum, and exhale, twist towards your right shoulder. Inhale, stretch, and engage your core muscles, your abdominal muscles here. Exhale, look back. So maybe some of you at a certain point will be looking over your right shoulder. Inhale, stretch up. I have the beautiful sun on my face. Exhale, look back. The last one, inhale, stretch up. Use your abdominal muscles. Exhale, look back. And slowly reverse, come back to neutral. And let's change position. So right hand on top of the left knee, left hand behind your back. And then let's repeat. So inhale, stretch up. And on the exhale, twist towards your left side. Let's do it slowly. Inhale, stretch up. And in the next exhale, twist a little bit deeper. And let's do a couple more. Inhale, stretch up, engage your abdominal muscles. Exhale, look back. And the last one, inhale, stretch up. Exhale, squeeze all the air out of your lungs and look back over your left shoulders towards the wall behind you, perhaps. And change slowly, come back to center. And now we're gonna bring the right ankle over the left knee. You can't see me and I'm not gonna show it, it would be a bit too awkward, but do believe me, bring your right ankle over your left knee and then flex the right foot, the one that is on top. And from here, I want you to bring your hands onto your right shin and then inhale again, stretch your back as much as possible. And in the exhale, I want you to fall forward. So bring your chest a little bit forward towards your right shin. Inhale, lengthen the spine from the top of your head. So tuck your chin slightly in. And on the exhale, fall forward. So half-seated pigeon is called. Inhale, stretch the back, bring the shoulder blades together on your back and push them down. And on the exhale, try to fold a little bit more forward. Feel the stretch on your right leg all over, all the way into the gluteus. And the last one, inhale, stretch, tuck your chin in, exhale, fall forward. Inhale, come back up into neutral, and let's change legs. So bring the left ankle on top of your right knee, flex your left foot, bring your hands on top of your shins. Sorry, you cannot see it. Now, open your chest, so bring the shoulder blades in your back together and then down towards the hips. Bring your hands on your shins and then inhale, stretch up. Send the top of the head up towards the ceiling. Exhale, fall forward. Bring your chest closer towards your shin, left shin. Inhale, stretch up. Tuck the chin slightly in to have a flat back. Exhale, fall forward. And the last one, inhale, stretch up. Exhale, bring the chest a little bit closer. That is my dog. You probably can hear him. And change. And one last pose. I will ask you all to stand up, which is perfect for the coffee break now. So grab the back of your chair. This is the last pose, I promise.
Okay, good.
The last of your, you grab the back of your chair and then you do inhale, and on the exhale, you just fall forward towards the back of your chair. I hope you can see me. So we are doing a fall forward to stretch the back of the legs. And we do 3 breaths here. In the exhalation, we try to bring the chest closer towards the floor to stretch the back of the legs.
And try not to fall and grab a coffee.
And now go for your coffee, well deserved.